Welcome back, Rockstars, to more Scape and Run Parasites in a crazy world where parasites slowly infect everything and try to take over. Can we survive? Let's dive right into it. Alright, Rockstars, it's Mega Base episode time. So we just need this bad boy for our EMC table and we'll teleport with this home pet. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. This is kind of like the basis of our island or our Mega Base. First thing we need to do is separate this land from the island because we do not want to be attached to whatsoever. You might be questioning what I'm doing right now. We want a floating island without actually being floating for multiple reasons, just so it's easier to build. But to build it straight out of the water is a lot harder than just trying to build it off of base lands. This way, nothing can get infected on our island from touching infected blocks that touch the mainland. Well, the most basics are done, but we're not done at all. We have to do this a million more times. And we have to delete everything underneath the land. But I have to first replace the outer skirts with what we actually want to build on. Mainly just filling in obsidian, and I can delete every other block down to bedrock. And this will give us our floating island and water type base all at the exact same time. Because what I plan to do with this land, this is all connected to mainland basically. We're just gonna fill this up with explosives. Okay, step one is absolutely completely finished. We have our entire ring around our area. I am so happy I had miner's dreams and destruction catalyst. Otherwise, this would have been so much more difficult. Yep, so we gotta slowly turn all of this into obsidian. This will give us a base for us to build on overall for a ground. Because in reality, this is supposed to be the ultimate final base no matter what. By the way, if you guys do enjoy, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Lets me know you enjoy the content that we make and you want to see more. Day 2 of working on this base. This is going to be probably the most fun part or the exciting part outside of just mining a bunch of blocks. Under here is what I'm worried about most. We currently need to get rid of all of this darkness so nothing can spawn down here. We're going to cover this entire thing on the bottom here with lava, but this is going to take a very long time. Okay, we're finished up with the most difficult parts, I think, but I also regret moving because this is the most annoying base build I have ever started. I'm being completely serious. As good as this base is going to be, I think I made it too big, and it's taken me a lot longer than I expected because it's a lot bigger than I expected. Now, there is going to be a second lava pit on the outside of this, which actually we're probably going to work on next because I'm going from outside in. All right, so I think we're going to use reinforced obsidian at this point just so it looks a little different, and the whole point of that is just so it is straight up not only stronger, but that way, like we did before originally, not everything is going to look exactly like obsidian. A good old stranger of Indomian carrying a grass block, so we can actually add grass to this without having to transport it over by hand and letting it grow manually, which would just save us a whole lot of time. So this was supposed to be originally the only pit of lava, and then I had the entire idea of what am I going to do down here if plants grow or if they spawn because I can't break bedrock. It might seem silly, but I think once we're done, it's really going to work out. Okay, we are finally done with some of the greedy stuff, and we can get on the good part. So we got our secondary lava floor. We have a regular layer of obsidian outside of our reinforced obsidian, and we are going to get ourselves the quicksand. I'm gonna go with probably 4 wide on each side, I think, because that should be big enough to be able to trap anything, because it doesn't have to go all the way down and past the obsidian drop into lava, because they will straight up suffocate. Even any mob that can get stuck in here will, and they will not be able to move. All right, Rockstars, so this is the cactus section. This is gonna be really interesting. First of all, we can go higher than 3 if we mainly build the cactus, right? Yes, that actually might be 5 high is what I want. So I know with the original base, we originally discussed how bad the cactus probably would be for a defense mechanism. And as much as that made sense at the time, it doesn't make as much sense now, especially because over time I kept saying the cactuses actually do damage, or I could just lead mobs with my flying ability into cactuses. Plus, this is a mega base, right? So we're supposed to use anything that's ultimately a possible defense. And since we know these can do damage, there is absolutely zero reason for us to continue not to have this on our base. But time to place so many cactuses, and I'm definitely going to make them all 5 tall as well, just to be extra safe. And I guarantee you I'm going to spend all 6 million EMC before this base is finished. Alright, so with the cactus wall finished up, we have the hardest step to actually apply. And up next is either laser turrets, which are supposed to be in front of the electric fences, which do work, they're just tricky. Laser walls, they're just tricky because they have a 4 block gap maximum. Alright, so I think this is the wall or corner we're going to start at, so we're not going to have much space between each wall. We don't want that. And I'm going to mine up this block or section of obsidian across the floor on the outer skirts and replace it with laser blocks, and then we're going to do 4 up and have the 5th block be more laser blocks, and I think we're going to make a stacking tower. Okay, so this is like the baseline that I've got so far. It's really interesting. So if we apply a laser right here, it will start activating them. So if we go ahead and shift right click, there we go, and then I think that should apply everything we need to all the lasers. So we're going to do this and place all the lasers across the rows are like this, and it's going to be a big square. And then all we have to do is place another set of these on top of this row. So there's technically 3 rows, and that's the max. So we'll have 2 walls of lasers. Because they can go out any side of the laser core, we only need one of these blocks in the middle, and this obsidian won't stay here. I also think I'm going to make it either 2 or 3 thick full of lasers. It's just going to be dependent on EMC at that point. Plus, because once we get everything set up, I still have to set up towers and whatnot for our sentry turrets and everything. Plus, it snows in this area clearly, so we kind of need to set up like a big ceiling. But if we put a massive ceiling above it, that will block out all the light, so we need to get everything else set up, plus light sources set up before we can put a ceiling over it so we can stop the snow. That way, I just don't want to deal with the snow. Well, Rockstars, we have our official 3-layer damaging laser wall system. It actually looks really sick and was the world's stupidest thing to set up. I'm telling you, the corners were the worst thing in the world because you can connect them sideways. It was difficult. One thing I'm very worried about, though, we have a couple more layers to go, and we're down to 197,000 EMC. We started with just over 6 million, just so you guys know. We've used a lot, which makes sense. It's a massive base. It's absolutely insane. And the obsidian on top of the lasers absolutely will stay. I plan on using sentries on top of that. So flying things, you know, even if they fly over here, we're still going to hit them at different layers. All right, so next up is electric fences, which should be quite easy. All we have to do is make it as tall as the laser wall and pull it around the entire way. This is going to be the end of our EMC, isn't it? That is quite literally everything we have. I hope it uses way less than this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to grind for 1 million EMC or so. Well, this is how much space we have left. Honestly, a lot more than I was originally predicting, if I'm being completely honest, because everything was originally supposed to be just a single row, and then I kept doubling up on everything. So let's see how much EMC we really have left after all of that. 303,000. Oh my god. Okay, well, that can give us part of our barbed wire fence, but not really enough. Okay, well, I could either fight withers, which is all based off looting, luck, and wither skeleton skulls, which is not fun. Oh, I don't like that ice is forming from the snow. But I think with the destruction catalyst, I'd much rather just go mining, and it'd be a lot better. So we're just gonna go a little bit away from the base, and because when we go down to the bedrock, it's really easy to find diamonds. So I'm just gonna do this and try to get a couple 100,000 EMC just to make sure we don't run out of any supplies. We're on basically the last layer, and then we just build the actual base itself and put up turrets, and we should be good to go without too many issues from that point on. Well, this might not be as hard as I thought to get the EMC. With 26 diamonds, we're at basically 2.5 or 220,000. So that's actually not bad. All right, throwing all this away. Ooh, there we go. We're rocking up a little over 500k EMC, and I will store the ores away for now. But barbed wire is pretty much one of the last ores we have. So this is going to be just like the inner wall from the old base. So it's not really anything new or a big deal. My temperature's not going up. I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden, my temperature would stop changing. It just stopped changing. It would no longer go up or down. It just stays freezing. Anyways, I gotta keep filling in this glowstone right here, so we actually have light over here, and this will stop any mobs at nighttime, give us a light system, and stop snow from ruining the actual quicksand, because if snow falls on it, you don't fall through it. Cool enough, though, we do get like natural mob spawns on this grass that we put here, which is super, super neat. All right, the very center is now lava. I'm gonna see if the heat will now work for whatever reason. I am only on fire, but it seems like I might be warming up. There we go. Perfect. Now, as long as we stay on fire, we'll be fine. This is going to be such an annoying build because of the cold. And here we are, Rockstars, with the finale finished of the base. I am not going to admit how long this actually took me to build because it was a ridiculous amount of time. Like triple the amount of time I originally thought, and don't even get me on EMC. I spent the original 6 million and then an extra 3 or 4 million. And then by the time I got to these sentry turrets, they're 10k each. I probably spent about 3.5 million on all of them in total. I'm gonna feel so devastated when they do 0 for the flying mobs and they just get wiped out after I spent all that time on them. And I had to have all this lava and glowstone too. I tried doing it without it, but it was impossible to deal with the mobs that would spawn, parasite, and otherwise. Plus, this helps convert the heat, so if it does snow, we can just melt all the snow. The only thing we haven't done is basically turn this entire thing into a minefield. That's what all of this is for, because it's the regular land. Outside of that, we are good. We have our obvious lava moat pit, then our secondary lava moat pit with quicksand, cactus that leads into 3 layers of laser beam into an electric fence to more lava with lava barbed wired sentry turrets to barbed wired with barbed wire on top fences and more sentry lava turrets. And a lot of these lava moats are mainly just to keep me warm from the cold. I have no idea how long this video is, so if you guys could leave a like, comment, and subscribe for all the time that went into this and let me know you guys enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it. And we have a 3-door locking system system to get inside. This was originally supposed to be like a jumpy system to get up. It doesn't seem to work if I don't have the cloud pet, and then that way I can fly anyway, so it doesn't matter. This is kind of our main defensive area, kind of like we had at the top of the old base. There are quite literally turrets everywhere. I did not skimp out because I knew they weren't going to do a lot of damage, and that's probably why I end up spending 3 million EMC on them alone. Workbench, our furnaces, obviously, our storage. This is all of our main important stuff with parasites or our hearts and whatnot, our cooling station, and our enchantment room. The double enchantment table is just so it's actually even because I built it in a even wide instead of an odd width room. We've got extra bullets and ammo and weapons and stuff all right here. Hey, give me that back. And this is our bunker, basically, like we had when we dug down. This is better though. We need to arm this up with doors, and I'm gonna do stronger than iron doors. The reason I didn't do them here is because you can't use a button to open them. But this entire place is 3 thick and reinforced obsidian. So I can't even break this unless I have a universal block breaker, which I can pull out of the EMC table, but I'm hoping is going to be a bit of a struggle for the parasites. And technically I wasn't done yet because I wanted more turrets on the outer layers, but I only have 23 hours in EMC left. I'm completely broke and I'm tired of getting more EMC. I needed a break from it. There's supposed to be barbed wire and turrets on top of this layer right here of all the glowstone and obsidian, and there's also supposed to be one on this layer of glowstone outside the quicksand and cactus as well, and then it would be done. Otherwise, that's all we have for today, so I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you all next time, Rockstars. Peace.